My, welcome back everybody to another video. Oh, it's been 2 weeks since I've recorded. Missed an upload. I'm sorry for that. That's my fault. I take full responsibility. Anyways, I am amped. I'm excited. It's a wonderful day out here. Let's get into it. All right, so before we continue, I forgot to do it in the last video, so I can't forget to do it right now. This video is unofficially brought to you by the song May 16th by Lagwagon. Guys, if you have not listened to Lagwagon, you're welcome. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, they are just so good. Anyways, if you haven't listened to them, check out the card up above this way. I think, I don't know which way it is. Anyways, check it out. I think you'll like it. So something that's been on my mind a lot lately is just the overall lack of accountability people are willing to take. And maybe it's just like a concentrated amount that I've been exposed to lately, and that's why it's driving me crazy. But there are so many people who will not take any responsibility for their situation in life, who won't take any responsibility for their actions, who will just blame everybody and everything else for everything in their life. It's not a good way to live life. If you've watched this channel for any period of time, you know that I have a really good habit of just saying things that are gonna piss somebody off. You know, it's part of the channel at this point. The videos that I make that get the most amount of dislikes are the ones where I say, hey, you know what? You're responsible for your actions. How is that controversial? I don't know, but in today's society it is. And I think that there's a genuine opposition force out there that wants you to honestly believe that, because they know that if you never blame yourself, that you can never fix your problems, and you will always be reliant on the people who will make the biggest promises to you that I will solve your problems. I'm here to tell you right now that they're not going to. They will not solve your problems. But if they can keep getting you to be like, oh, well, they will solve my problems for me. And I'm not talking specifically about politics here. There are friends who are that way. There are significant others who are that way. There's just people. It's just toxic people who will do that shit to you. Quite frankly, it's really disgusting. It really is. And it pisses me off. And it makes me mad how many people will fall for that, because in the moment it feels good. You know, I don't need to take responsibility for this. I don't need to take responsibility for this. I don't need to take responsibility for this. It feels good in the moment. The problem is that it leads to a miserable life. People are choosing to believe something that's making them feel good in the moment, but in the long run, it ruins your life. So I can already hear like the counter argument. And the counter argument is going to be, so you're saying that everything that happens to me in my life is my fault because it's in my control. No, not even close. That's not even close to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you don't always get to control what happens to you, but you do get to control how you respond. You may not get to decide that opening move of the chess game, for the analogy, but you do get to decide your response. And look, are there some situations that are just genuinely completely out of our control that we have zero say in, and there's just something actually that's just shitty that happens to us? Yes. I think of it like a classic example. Let's see something online that we don't like. Somebody might have said, I am voting Democrat, right? And then all of a sudden you'll get some Republicans who are like, you fucking idiot, you know, like the freak out. And vice versa. Somebody will say, I don't like Biden. And then all of a sudden, yeah, the Biden stands up. They were like, oh, well, you're horrible, and we need to cancel this person now, and this and that. And it's like both sides do it, and it's pathetic, right? You're not doing anything positive in your life by doing that at all. You didn't get to control, and you never will be able to control. Get the idea that you're going to be able to control the world out of your head. That's not going to happen, ever. But you do get to choose, how are you going to respond to that? What's going to be the thing that's actually going to improve your life the longest, right? For example, for this video, you don't get to control that I upload this video. I did it. However, if you don't like the message, you get to choose what comes next. You can just dislike the video and carry on with your day. You can just skip past the video, not even dislike it. That's okay too. Another option you have is to have a hissy fit, throw a fit, freak out, and say, this person's horrible. I disagree with this message. and then just let it ruin your day. That's an option. It's a legitimate option that you have. But you can't then say, well, this person uploaded a video and it ruined my day. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. You ruined your own day. You chose to let something control you to that level. You ruined your own day. You didn't control your emotions. You didn't control your response. You allowed yourself to be a slave to your own mind and your own emotions. You allowed yourself to be a slave to the human animal side of you instead of using your consciousness, the spiritual side of you, and saying, you know what, no, I control, the human spirit side of me controls the human animal. I have a higher level of consciousness. I don't need to just feel these emotions and then that's it. And like, I can never recover. That's ridiculous. You know, another area that we see this is, you know, in relationships. What is it about romantic relationships that bring out the worst in people? I don't know. Maybe we just let our guard down and show our true colors. You know, somebody will be acting shady in a relationship and all of a sudden when they get caught cheating, right? Well, I only did it because you don't trust me. Now look, I really do think most of us are smart enough to see through that bullshit. I really do. I really believe it. I think most of us hear that and we just roll our eyes because we know a person who's done that. We know the person like that. I have people in my life who 100% have tried to use a line very similar to that. It is pathetic, absolutely pathetic to be like, what? The thing that I'm really saying is that yes, in the moment, it feels really good to shirk responsibility. It feels really good to just not do the hard thing, to not tell the truth, to not be honest, to not take responsibility for your own actions. But I'm telling you for sure, you just create your own prison doing that and it makes for a miserable life. You know, we've talked about religious topics before, and you know, I just mentioned right there that there is an animal side to humans and there is a spiritual side to humans. I believe that the ancient religious texts, and one thing that a lot of the ancient religious texts always say is, hey, you know, tell the truth. Even if it doesn't benefit you, tell the truth. You know, we've grown up hearing honesty is the best policy. And there's a lot of times that, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks to tell the truth. And it would be so easy in that moment to just tell a lie, get away with it, and never have to deal with it again. But it always comes back to bite you in the ass eventually. You know, I know that there's been a big concerted effort to kind of just like push those things away and just not think about them like, oh, they're so dumb. They didn't even know what germs were back then, you know. Not realizing that our society, like us, we are standing on the shoulders of giants in that regard. I'm not saying I agree with everything in these ancient texts. No, I'm not going to say that at all. What I'm going to say is that, man, are we really thinking that in the last 30 years, suddenly we became that much smarter than millions of years of evolution and thousands of years of knowledge being passed down from humans? Seems a little goofy to me to think that, personally. And while there is that concerted effort, while it's cool to be like, oh, well, if they thought that in the Bible or in the Torah or in the Quran, or Hindus believed this, or if Buddhists believed this way back when, it must be wrong, they're crazy, right? Nah, just thousands of years of experience with it, and you know, millions of people whose lives we've witnessed. You know, maybe you should be honest. It seems to lead to a little bit better of a life. I don't know, maybe just be honest then. Another example is you'll hear people all the time say, well, we need to get back to these roots, this traditional aspects of life of we need marriage to be a thing and people need to stop sleeping around. You hear that all the time. And then you kind of look at their history and it's like, wow, you've been married like 4 times. You've got kids with like 7 different people. But you're saying that everybody else doing that is the problem with society, not you, not Mr. Banging the secretary. Like, look, I agree. Monogamy is a good thing. I do believe in marriage. I do believe staying with one person. But these folks are sitting there telling you to live your life in a certain way while they go off and live another way. Again, not taking responsibility for their own actions and their own choices. They see a problem with society. I may agree with this problem in society, but the only way any problem gets solved is if everybody actually takes responsibility for their own actions and begins to fix themselves. Everybody's always sitting there saying, oh, well, society is this, society is that, society is this, and everything needs to change. But they're not doing anything to change their own life. Last time I checked, society was just made up of a bunch of people. So while you may be right, if you're not doing anything in your own life to fix that, the problem that you are also contributing, I don't know why you think I should listen to you or take you seriously. And again, I get it. I'm on a soapbox. I understand. I am not perfect. I'm not going to sit there and judge you saying, I think that this is a problem with society. I've contributed to it. You know, I'm going to work on it. Good for you. Hey, I'm not judging you for being part of it. I'm also not really judging the person who's like, this is the way society is. I don't see it as a problem. I don't care, and not doing anything to fix it. Okay, good for you. The issue I have is with folks who are saying this is an issue. Everybody else is contributing to this issue. And then like on the down low, they are too, but well, I'm not gonna fix that. Like I'd rather just complain about it, right? You know, it's funny to me because I see this a lot. I just saw something. It was ridiculous. Is that, you know, with these shows, these podcasts like Fresh and Fit or whatever podcast, you know, literally called whatever podcast. You know, I'm not going to get into my thoughts on these podcasts exactly, but what do they always have? They always have the OnlyFans folks on there, right? Tons of them, every show, different one. And then what they proceed to do is they proceed to just bash on these folks, right? That's half of the show is talking down to the OnlyFans models. And yet, it turns out like almost all of the OnlyFans models who were on the podcast end up making a lot of money and greatly increase the amount that they're making every month immediately after being on that show. I'm not even going to bash the hosts of those shows. Again, I'm not getting into my thoughts on any of this. I can get to that in another video. But clearly, you have a large segment of the population, and this is, oh my God, the amount of dislikes I'm going to get on this video is ridiculous for this one phrase right here. The amount of people who are clearly watching those videos to just sit there and listen to women get dunked on and talk shit about, but then just go right over and start paying for their OnlyFans. Like, they sit there, they're like, oh, OnlyFans models are fucking whores, and fuck these guys, and this and that. And then they go off and pay. So you're saying that these folks are a problem, but then you're going and engaging in the exact activity that you're saying is a problem. Take responsibility for your own choices. If you're going to sit there and get up here like what I'm doing and preach all day, these are all problems and these people are bad and this and that, then you're going to go off and do the same shit. Well, no, it's a problem. There's a part of a Bible where it talks about how God is going to judge the teachers harsher. He's going to hold them to a higher standard than the average person in the congregation. I don't remember the exact part of it. Look, guys, I'm not a scholar on this stuff. But I think, again, wisdom in this, that if you are going to sit there and you're going to get online and you're going to go on your podcast and this and that and preach about all of these issues and you're going to say all these people are bad and this is a problem in society, but then you're engaging in it or you're contributing to that rise, that's a problem. And if you are creating content like I am, and I understand that, you probably should be held to a higher standard by the average person, right? If I'm sitting here saying, for example, monogamy is good. You should find a good partner, and barring these extreme circumstances, you should stay with that person, and you should rule your kingdom with that person. You as a king, them as a queen, or you as a queen, and them as a king, or whatever it is. But then, I'm going out, and I'm partying with all of these different women, and I'm impregnating half of them, not being monogamous, and I am not ruling over my kingdom. I'm not doing anything to grow my kingdom. I'm letting it fall to shambles or leaving it to my queen, my wife, Brooke, to take care of all of it, and I'm doing nothing. That's a problem, and you should hold me to a higher standard. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't fall. It doesn't mean you don't have a bad day, a bad week. It doesn't mean you don't struggle with stuff and you're not actively working on it. Not saying that I'm perfect at all, but what I am saying is that if you are preaching one thing and you are doing nothing to try to live that out, you are the problem. Well, folks, that's my controversial rant of the day, I suppose. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. If you made it this far, thank you very much. As always, I really do appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to any amount. Take responsibility for your actions. It will make your life so much better. It's going to be hard at first. I know. I get it. I get it. But when you are confronted with the opportunity, do I shirk responsibility? Do I push blame off onto somebody else? Do I not take responsibility for my own action right now? Deep breath. Make that difficult decision once. The next time it gets easier. You stack that habit and you will watch your life radically transform. I'm not joking. There may be negative consequences that come up immediately following of being honest, but you start to live a better life. You become a better version of yourself. You become a more honest version of yourself, and you're gonna live more in accordance with what you're saying because you're not lying. Guys, thank you so much, as always. But until next time, have a great day.